Hello, I'm going to call this video day because I'm a little behind on my videos, so I'm going to post two today. This first one is about using Stampin' Up Rub-ons, and I don't know how many of you have collected these, but I have quite a few packs. And what I love most about Stampin' Up Rub-ons is that they last a really long time. They're very high quality rub-ons, so you can store them over time. You don't have to worry about them breaking down. So what you can see right here in front of me is a package that's about a year old in my house where it's kind of warm, because I just want to show you how you can totally rely on these rub-ons over time. So what is really cool about rub-ons is they work on a lot of different surfaces and they make card making really fast. I don't know if you noticed, but when you order rub-ons in our catalog, right under the picture of the rub-on is a list of the colors in the package. This is really useful for you because that helps you build your base card. So on these rub-ons here, and I think they were called Dots and Designs, they have three colors in them: chocolate chip, ruby red, and whisper white. So I got myself a ruby red piece of cardstock, just took it 8.5 by 11 and cut it in half at 4 1/4. And I'm actually going to do today something different. I'm going to open the card this way. And I got a piece of chocolate chip ribbon. And I got a little piece of whisper white paper. So I took the colors in the palette and I said, okay, let's make a card with these three colors. So let me just put this aside for a minute because I did take out one rub-on already. And that's this little flower here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this little flower onto my whisper white piece of paper so that it's in the top of the paper. And that's because I'm going to have some room here to wrap my ribbon around. I'm going to just separate, and actually when I cut this out, by the way, and you'll see how I cut out the border, you cut it out so that it's completely all by itself. This way you don't make a mistake and rub a different image on to your paper while you're rubbing on the one that you want. So I'm just going to sit this down and I'm going to begin to rub. So I'm just applying some consistent pressure without like digging into the paper. And when I think I've covered everything, and you can't see this with this quality of a video, but I can see it it whites out once it's lifted off the paper. So if you look very closely, you can tell where it's down and where it isn't down. So like right here, it wasn't completely down. And it depends on the type of rub-on you're using, how well that whiting out kind of helps. Depends on how dark it is too. So I'm just going to lift. So I'll lift this way so you can see. And I'm lifting slowly, not like a band-aid. The reason is because I had just lifted this up. I'm going to take the other side that I pulled off, and I'm going to rub that onto the image. And basically what I'm doing here is called burnishing. And this just makes sure that all the little edges of the rub-on are down. And there's my rub-on. I'm going to distress the edges. So I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to rub them along the edge of this white paper. And yes, I'm in a red mood today, so there's some more red. The scissors are also red. Make the paper longer in order to actually stamp my sentiment underneath it. But today I'm going to use that extra space for my ribbon. So I think it's a little bit too long. So I'm going to cut 1/2 inch off for my ribbon. And basically in this particular image, the ribbon is going to serve as a way of grounding the image. So I'm just going to pull the ribbon over to the side here. I could tie a bow, but on such a small image I kind of want to do something different here. But I'm going to go ahead and tie a bow because of time. Sorry. The knot tying is always challenging on camera. It's like it comes out perfectly when I'm working alone, but when I'm on camera, for some reason the knot's always a challenge. So there, I got my knot. I'm going to pull it over so that it's not directly under that stem. Takes kind of that space that's free on the left side. I'm going to give it a good snip. Sorry to come out of the camera for a second. I needed to get that tied correctly. So I've just got my knot and my image. So now let's get the base of the card ready. So on my card base, which I said is going to open like this, I'm just going to put a border right here. So I'm going to go open up my rub-ons, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this border here. And what's nice about when you're working with rub-ons, you don't have to worry about it being a very, perfect cut, because you're cutting. This is not going to show. I'm just cutting that border out, and I'm going to take this border and I want it right along here like that. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down, and it's a little bit over the size of the paper, and that's fine. Okay, and then I'm going to use my rub-on tool to rub this down. You can see I'm going pretty fast, and again, I'm not applying too much pressure, but I'm making sure that I get out to those edges. Other rub-ons I've noticed will shift, while I'm doing this. They don't stick down. So I really like Stampin' Up Rub-ons because you can really count on them sticking to the paper well. And I think I just want to pull that down a little bit. Looks great. Looks great. Looks great. And there we go. Now because this was a little longer, you're going to see some of the pieces on the end, but don't worry about them when I burnish. Remember I said I take the back sheet and I kind of just rub that to make sure everything's stuck down. I will flip it over and just take these little edges and run them over with my burnishing strip. And then just on the other side. And I think they're fine there. If you wanted to cut them off, you could, but I think they're fine there. And that's that. Now this also has a nice little dot pattern that I like. So I'm going to take those dots too. So again, I really believe that it's best. I could rub right there, but I think it's best for me to cut this off. That way I don't accidentally take anything else off that rub-on onto my card design. Rub those down. These should be really easy because just a little line of dots. And I think you can see kind of with this one really clearly how it whites out where it's done. See, this one's not done, so it's not whited out. I'm glad it did that for you. I'll just rub those down. Pick this up. Gorgeous. Okay? So, I think my card is just done, basically. So this is going to go there. Let's put a greeting down before we put our main image down. So I've chosen Happy Birthday. I'm just going to put that right on the lower edge of this. And a little Happy Birthday. And I'm going to take my Stamping Dimensionals. I don't know if you know this, but when you run out, those edges are useful. Don't throw those away. Alright, I'm just going to take a couple of these little edges and so my ribbon was a little bit crooked. Alright, and then I'm just going to put that right there. And very, very easy card. I want to show you that you can also rub onto candles and things like that. So here's one where I actually decorated a candle. But I could have put flowers all over this candle or even words, but I chose just to take one of those borders and dress up a $1 candle, and it will go as a gift. So thank you for coming today.